Don't believe the hype. Hey everybody, I just wanted to make a really quick video. This video is just basically for the new boxing fans or the boxing fans that are very young and they're just really getting to know the sport. And it is about the multi-division world champions that you see floating all over the place. This guy's a 2-division, 3-division, 4-weight division, 5-weight division world championship, and how really don't pay that much attention to that. It's just marketing, and most of it's a bunch of bullshit. It's really not what it seems. Let me give you a perfect example. Back when I was like 18 years old, Sugar Ray Leonard became a 5-division world champion. Now, we all know his history. You know what I mean? We all know back in 1979, he beat Benitez and became like a welterweight champion. And then he, in 81, he beat Ayub Kaluli and he became the junior middleweight champion. And in 1987, he beat Marvin Hagler and became the middleweight champion of the world. Well, at some point, I guess he just wanted to keep on going, and I guess the WBC felt like placating him, and they gave him a shot at the super middleweight and light heavyweight championships in one fight. You see, the super middleweight division, which was brand new to the game at the time, the sanctioning bodies were just introducing it, was a middle layer ground between 160 and 175. It was for 168 pounds. Sugar Ray Leonard wanted to take a shot at getting the light heavyweight championship of the world. Who did he see up there that was very beatable? One Donnie Lalonde. He was a one-armed guy, by easily anybody's imagination, the most limited of the belt holders at that time. Not shitting on Donnie Lalonde. Had some fun fights, made his money in the sport, not trying to denigrate the guy, but easily, of the 3 champions, Donnie Lalonde was the weakest. So Sugar Ray Leonard says, well, I'm going to go up and I'm going to challenge Donnie Lalonde. And whatever kind of deal he had going with the WBC, they said, hey, why don't we make this a 2-for-1? You can fight for the super middleweight title, and you can fight for the light heavyweight title. All we got to do is get Lalonde to go down from 175 down to 168 pounds, which for that kind of money, Lalonde agreed to. So he drops from 175 down to 168. Sugar Ray Leonard takes on a, let's just say, melts down light heavyweight champion and the weakest one at that point. Wins, and all of a sudden he went from a 3-division world champion to a 5-division world champion overnight. Did he beat Virgil Hill, who was basically universally recognized as probably the best of the heavyweight champions? He held the WBA belt at the time. The IBF belt was held by Prince Charles Williams, still a much more dangerous, infinitely better fighter than Donnie Lalonde was. He didn't do that. He found the easiest pickings, got the WBC to play along with his big money game to give him 2 belts in 2 divisions in one night. So for all of history now, Sugar Ray Leonard is always going to go around as 5-time, 5-division world champion, Sugar Ray Leonard. I'm not crapping on Leonard. Smart man, good businessman, had some tremendous fights. Goes down as a legend. Not knocking him, but he knew what he was doing. And he knew the game he was playing. And he knew the business that he was living in. He got paid good money to take an easy fight to pick up 2 more belts in 2 separate weight divisions. It's just the way it is. Another perfect example is Roy Jones Jr. We're talking about in March of 2003, he took on John Ruiz for the WBA heavyweight title. Everybody knows that universally recognized as the best heavyweight champion out there was Lennox Lewis, who happened to hold the WBC belt. There's nobody on God's green earth who thought Roy Jones could beat Lennox Lewis. Hell, even Roy Jones didn't think he could beat Lennox Lewis. He even said those guys are too big. He was, I'm not messing with him. And he could have went on and fought Chris Bird, who happened to hold the IBF belt at the time. He didn't do that either, because let's face it, Chris Bird was a defensive master at that point in his career, and probably, even though he was a smallish heavyweight, probably would have beaten Roy Jones. But Roy seen a chance to move up in weight, take on the most limited of the guys that just happened to have a belt at that time, John Ruiz. Again, not knocking Ruiz, by all accounts a nice guy, but a boring fighter. Never seriously ever thought of as being the best in the division. And he was just lucky enough to be holding a belt. Roy always talked about he wanted to recreate what Bob Fitzsimmons did. Bob Fitzsimmons was light heavyweight champ, went up to heavyweight, won the legitimate heavyweight championship, and then went back down, won the light heavyweight again, and he just hung out there. But the problem and the difference is Bob Fitzsimmons beat the legitimate heavyweight champion of the world. Roy Jones didn't. But people will still talk about it to this day. Oh, he was a middleweight champ, light heavyweight champ. He was a heavyweight champ. No, he wasn't. Sounds nice on paper. Sounds nice when you interview somebody and you want to check out their credentials before the interview. But it doesn't mean it's real. Anyways, folks, that's all I wanted to share with you today. We're going to have a lot of stuff coming up. We're going to be going back in time, looking at a lot of the great fights from the olden days. We're working on some things right now. Cool programming coming up. Anyway, this was just a quick one. Knock it out the door. Everybody take care. Be healthy. Be safe. See you soon.